All right, buckle up because this deep dive is, well, it's a doozy.
Oh, yeah.
You wanted to explore the world of digital intimacy and potential manipulation on platforms like OnlyFans, right? Well, let's just say we've gone down the research rabbit hole, and trust me, it gets wild.
It really makes you question what authenticity even means, in the digital age.
Yeah.
Like, what's real anymore, right?
And our main source for this deep dive, a recent expose by Reuters, uncovered a whole hidden industry
Really?
behind those seemingly personal messages from
Yeah.
OnlyFans creators.
Wow.
Turns out you might not be interacting with who you think you are.
Well, it's like a digital hall of mirrors.
Right.
It raises some big questions about the blurring lines between connection and just straight up content consumption.
Totally. To really grasp this, we need to start with a story, I think. Reuters profiled a German man, let's just call him Nikki's biggest fan,
Okay.
who fell head over heels for an OnlyFans creator.
Yeah.
He truly believed, really believed they had a genuine connection, showering her with subscriptions, tips, even sending money for things like car repairs and medical bills.
It's heartbreaking because it highlights the very real emotional vulnerability at play here.
Yeah.
People crave connection. And platforms like OnlyFans with their, direct messaging and exclusive content can create an environment where it's easy to blur the lines between fantasy and reality.
And the crazy thing is, this isn't just some isolated incident. The report found similar stories from all over the world.
Yeah.
And when you look at the sheer scale of OnlyFans,
Yeah.
over 200 million users, most of them men, spending a significant amount of money, well, it paints a pretty stark picture.
It does, and that's where the economic incentive comes in.
Right.
OnlyFans' own data shows that the platform heavily favors top creators, with the top 10% earning, get this, a staggering 73% of the revenue.
Okay, so big money at the top, which means there's pressure to keep those subscribers engaged, to keep the cash flowing. But how?
Enter the chatters.
The what?
Essentially, these are paid professionals hired to craft those flirty, those personalized messages you thought were coming straight from your favorite OnlyFans creator.
Wait, so I could be pouring my heart out thinking I'm building a relationship with this person, and it's actually some random person behind a screen crafting responses based on who knows what.
That's the unsettling reality.
So let me get this straight. There's a whole industry of people essentially crafting digital love letters,
Yeah.
creating this illusion of intimacy, and it's all fueled by the economics of the platform itself.
It's a fascinating, really, case study in the intersection of technology, economics, and human connection, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
The report really delves into the inner workings of this chatter industry, which is largely based in the Philippines. Individuals, often working for agencies, are juggling multiple conversations, sometimes dozens at once, crafting responses that align with specific desires or fantasies.
Wow, it's like a digital call center of make-believe romance.
Yeah.
But with very real human beings on both ends. What kind of impact does this kind of work have on the chatters themselves?
That's where things get complex. On the one hand, you have individuals, often in countries with limited economic opportunities,
Right.
finding ways to make a living. The work might be emotionally taxing, requiring a certain level of kind of detachment, but the pay can be significantly better than other available options.
Right. So it's easy to see how someone might get caught up in that, especially given the global economic landscape. But then there's the other side, the users who genuinely believe they're building a connection,
Yeah.
spending their hard-earned money based on that belief. That's got to be a tough pill to swallow.
Absolutely. And it raises the very important question of platform responsibility. Does OnlyFans, knowing this industry exists and understanding the financial structure that incentivizes this behavior, bear any responsibility for what transpires on their platform?
Yeah. It's a tough one. I mean, they are profiting from it, right?
Right, yeah.
They take a cut of every subscription, every tip. So these chatters, whether they're directly employed or part of an agency, are ultimately contributing to OnlyFans' bottom line.
Precisely. And this is where the legal arguments get particularly interesting. OnlyFans, like many social media platforms, relies on Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act.
Oh, yeah, the law that basically shields websites from liability for content posted by their users.
That's the one.
Right.
They argue they are a platform, not a publisher,
Okay.
and therefore not responsible for the actions of individual creators or agencies operating within their space.
Okay. But it seems like things get blurry when you consider the platform's financial structure and the fact that this practice of using chatters, while not explicitly endorsed, directly benefits them financially.
You've hit on a key point of contention. It raises questions about the spirit of the law versus the letter of the law. But beyond the legal debate, there's an undeniable ethical dimension. If a platform enables, even indirectly, potentially exploitative practices, do they have a moral obligation to intervene?
And here's the kicker. Remember how we talked about those chatters using scripts and strategies to mimic authentic connection? Well, according to the report, AI is already knocking on the door.
That's right. Some agencies are exploring AI-powered chatbots to further automate this process, potentially removing the human middleman entirely.
Wait, hold up. So instead of a real person, even when working from a script, you might be pouring your heart out to lines of code designed to elicit a specific emotional response.
That's the potential future we're facing. And with it comes a whole new level of complexity.
So we've gone from real people, like actually getting paid to have these fake relationships, to the potential for those relationships to be completely automated. It's kind of blowing my mind. Like, where do we even draw the line anymore?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's not just about OnlyFans. This whole thing, it speaks to a much larger trend of AI, seeping into our lives in ways we might not even realize. Think about those customer service chatbots.
Right.
That are becoming, increasingly common, or even the algorithms that curate our social media feeds,
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. But isn't there a difference between like a chatbot helping me reset my password and a chatbot like simulating emotional intimacy? I mean, that feels like a whole different ballpark.
It is, but that line is getting blurrier all the time. As AI technology advances, these chatbots are becoming increasingly sophisticated, capable of mimicking human conversation and emotional responses in ways that are, well, increasingly convincing.
So where does this leave us? If we can't even tell if we're like connecting with a real person or a bunch of algorithms, what does that mean for the future of human connection? It's almost like we're venturing into like uncharted territory,
In a way, we are. And it's vital to start thinking about the implications, now. For instance, how do we ensure transparency in a world where AI is becoming increasingly adept at impersonating human interaction? Do we have a right to know if we're pouring our hearts out to a real person or sophisticated piece of software?
And what about like consent? If someone is fully aware that they are like interacting with an AI and find it enjoyable or fulfilling, is that any different from, say, like watching a movie or reading a book?
Those are all valid questions, and it's crucial to remember that technology itself isn't inherently good or bad. It's all about how we choose to use it. Just like any powerful tool, AI has the potential for both positive and negative applications.
So if we take anything away from this deep dive, it's that we need to be aware of these emerging technologies and their potential impact on our lives.
Absolutely. The first step is awareness. Then comes the critical thinking, the questioning, the ongoing conversation about where we draw the lines, what we're comfortable with, and how we want to shape the future of technology and connection.
This deep dive into OnlyFans and the world of digital intimacy has been, well, eye-opening, to say the least. It's clear that this is just the tip of the iceberg, and there are still many unanswered questions and ethical considerations to explore. What's your final thought for our listeners today?
Keep asking those questions. Stay curious. And never underestimate the power of genuine human connection in a world increasingly driven by technology.